People used to treat me like I was nothing, just a shadow in a picture frame. My name is Marcus Richardson, the adopted black son, and as I stand here today at my parents' funeral, I finally have a voice. Growing up, I was the forgotten son. While my brothers basked in the light of family gatherings, I stood in the corner, invisible. My adoptive parents, Richard and Elizabeth, surely meant well at first. But I learned early that love can be a selective beast. They chose to ignore the vibrant soul I'd become. I was just the extra person in the family portrait, an inconvenient truth that clashed with their crafted image. As I traveled 800 kilometers to this somber chapel, I felt the tension in the air, thick with unspoken history. My heart raced, not with grief, but with audacity. I would change the narrative. Today, I would read the letter my mother left behind, a letter she instructed to be opened only after her death. I hoped it held secrets that could explain my disappointment, perhaps even redeem our fractured family. And then I did it. My voice trembled as I read her words, exposing the cracks in our facade. She acknowledged her regrets, her failures to embrace me fully as her child. But the biggest shock was yet to come. My name echoed through the room as I revealed a DNA test that shattered everything. The truth that William, my brother, wasn't Richard's biological son. The air thickened with disbelief as the implications rippled through the gathered family. But instead of revenge, I chose transformation. I saw not only the family that had neglected me, but the community I longed to uplift. With inherited shares in the family business, I decided to build a community center, a place of empowerment for those like me, forgotten, ignored, but thriving against the odds. True inheritance lies not in money, but in the change we inspire. And perhaps, just perhaps, I could turn this pain into purpose. Subscribe for more stories about hope, resilience, and justice.
Marcus, we're really busy right now. Can't you just sit over there?
Jessica sneered, motioning with a dismissive hand toward the far corner of the family living room. His heart sank, but he nodded, forcing a smile as he retreated. Later, in the kitchen, Marcus overheard his adoptive parents laughing with his brothers. "Can you imagine him in that family photo?" Richard chuckled, the condescension thick in his voice. "We should have just kept it all white." Marcus clenched his fists, temperature rising. How had he become invisible in the home that was supposed to be his? "At least I'm not a total screw-up," Thomas muttered, face aglow from his phone. "Look at him all alone, probably reading some dumb book again." The brothers snickered, and the sound echoed like daggers through his chest. Years passed, with every slight adding to his sense of being a complete outsider. He tried hard. School achievements, soccer games, honors, they didn't see him beyond the skin tone that marked him as different. Days before the funeral, Marcus received the call. "You should come. It's important." The words, dripping with obligation, felt hollow coming from a family he felt only tolerated. Pulpit now, he could feel the tension tightening as he gripped the crumpled letter. The initial silence thrummed with pent-up emotions. "Mom wrote about you all," he began, eyes sharp as glass. "How you ignored me." Aces filled the room as he read, "I see now that I let my family's prejudices shape my heart. I failed you, Marcus." He paused, letting the revelation settle. The truth unraveled at their feet, a stunning reminder of their wrongs. The deafening silence bore witness to the power shift, a revelation that would shatter the facade they'd built. As unsettled looks exchanged between his brothers, Marcus felt a flicker of power within the turmoil. Their discomfort was palpable, but he wasn't backing down this time. The chapel was filled with whispers and exchanged glances, the air thick with unspoken grievances. Marcus stood at the pulpit, a lone figure among his adoptive family, feeling the weight of years spent in silence. He had finally decided to share the truth about his life, memories cascading back like ghosts. As he looked at the faces in the crowd, he could see the discomfort flicker in their eyes, a stark reminder of his place in their world. From the moment he was adopted at 8, the edges of his existence had been blurred. Family photos were pristine white canvases. Marcus was only ever a shadow at the periphery. Birthdays came and went, filled with laughter and warmth, yet he found himself alone in the corners, smiling awkwardly, as if to convince himself he belonged. The descent into invisibility escalated when he turned 9. The warmth from his parents chilled into apathy. In family conversations, his voice would slip into silence, unacknowledged. His pursuit of education and success became his armor, an independent path carved out of neglect. Yet, there always lay the dull ache of exclusion. The call came about their untimely death, a tether pulling him back to the very family that had marginalized him. He walked into the chapel, uncertainty gnawing at him. During the eulogy, amid tears and shared memories, he felt a flicker of hope mixed with bitterness. While speaking, he revealed a letter from his mother, letters that hinted at regrets, bushels of unspoken truths buried beneath a facade. As he read aloud, the revelation struck like lightning. His mother had recognized the distance with agonizing clarity, but the words hinted at deeper divides, family secrets threatening to unravel their lives. A muffled gasp escaped from the audience as he presented a DNA test, illustrating a stark betrayal that rendered his identity fragile. The room shifted, energy crackling with disbelief while questions remained unasked. Marcus felt the unraveling, the moment he had waited for, yet it heightened the uncertainty of what would come next. Would reconciliation be possible, or was this merely the prologue to a storm he had only just begun to navigate? Marcus stood at the pulpit, heart racing as he clutched the letter. The chapel's silence bore down on him, a palpable tension thickening the air. "I wasn't always treated as a son," he began, voice steady yet soft, resonating in the hushed space. "But today, I stand here to reclaim my story." He took a breath, locking eyes with William, who shifted uneasily in the front row. "Mom acknowledged it," he said, reading from the letter. "How our family kept me at arm's length." A few gasps echoed. He continued, unveiling the past that had festered in shadows, his courage ignited by a flicker of validation. Her words, he held the letter high, reveal the truth we've skirted around. His brother's expressions, a mix of indignation and disbelief, only fueled Marcus's resolve. "You may see me as an outsider, but I've been fighting for my place all along." The audience leaned in, their intrigue shifting to support, a small yet monumental victory in his journey toward acceptance. As he concluded, the atmosphere shifted. The tension transformed into a collective breath. "I'm not here for revenge," he said, lowering his voice yet increasing his resolve. "I want to build something better for all of us." He glanced at Thomas, who looked thoughtful. The glimmers of a future began to emerge, a community center, a space for healing. "Let's turn this around," he urged, a quiet confidence surging through him. "Together we can create change." In that moment, amid the grieving, Marcus felt the first inklings of belonging, a gentle reclaiming of his narrative, the dawn of his comeback. Amid the muted whispers and mournful gazes, Marcus stood at the pulpit, a stark contrast in a sea of grief. The chapel felt like a cage as he gripped the worn letter in his hand, each heartbeat resonating with the weight of silent years spent in the shadows of his adopted family. His calm demeanor masked the storm within. Today he would be heard, he began to read. Murmurs of confusion rippled through the audience. The first line cut through the air like a blade. His mother's words, filled with remorse, laid bare the family's long-held prejudices. Marcus's voice held steady, revealing her regrets about ignoring him and pushing him away. The truth unfurled like a dark tapestry, woven with secrets that would unravel the fabric of their collective identity. He paused, allowing their shocked expressions to sink in. The letter detailed how family gatherings served as reminders of his exclusion. A black sheep literally left out of the family portrait. Gasps echoed softly, eyes darting from him to William, the eldest brother, whose face blanched with horror. It wasn't just rejection, it was a betrayal, a truth they had all chosen to ignore. As Marcus continued, the atmosphere thickened with tension. He unveiled the shocking DNA results hidden in a file marked confidential. The revelation that William was not Richard's biological son sent a tremor through the congregation. William's face twisted in rage and disbelief as the words echoed around the room. "You're not who you think you are." A shift electrified the space, all eyes now on Marcus. He felt the weight of generations lift. The silent triumph glimmered in his gaze as he faced the wild-eyed anger of his brothers. While William shouted frantic protestations, a flicker of realization crossed Thomas's face. The chance to make amends was closer than it had ever been. In this moment, Marcus found a deeper clarity. Instead of vengeance, he felt a surge of purpose. This was not just about him reclaiming a place within the family, but about restructuring their legacy. He envisioned a future where his experiences could fuel transformation, leading to a community uplifted by understanding rather than division. As the funeral drew to a close, Marcus stepped outside, breathing in the crisp air, his heart lighter. He glanced back at the chapel, knowing he had rewritten their story, not with anger, but with a promise of healing. The silence spoke volumes, and in that moment, he became not just the adopted son, but an architect of change. As I stand in the shadow of my past, looking back on my journey feels bittersweet. The funeral marked the end of a chapter and the beginning of my reclamation. While my adoptive parents gave me a roof and a name, they also made me intimately familiar with exclusion, a painful silence marked by unending neglect. Reading that letter was like peeling back the layers of a story I was always told to ignore. The secrets my mother shared opened my eyes to truths I had long suspected, but dared not voice. I now understand the weight of my existence within a family that never fully embraced me. With each word, I found a strength I didn't know I possessed, a resilience forged in adversity. Programmus, have you ever felt like an outsider in your own home? Do you think I went too far in unveiling these hidden truths? I invite you to share your experiences in the comments below. Let's explore the complexities of family, love, and the journey toward justice together. Your voice matters.